Hey, okay, so I decided to restart the stream. I was only like a minute in, but yeah, there was nothing going on. I was just kind of waking up, having coffee and things like that. But welcome in, welcome in. Today we'll be discussing the subject of pornography and just things in that, sort of category. Wicked things set before your eyes. The Bible says not to set any wicked thing before your eye. And you know what? It truly won't please you. When you see something with your eyeball, you think you're satisfied and you're happy, but it really won't quench your desires. Your deepest desires really come truly from God. But I want to get into this right away, and I'll kind of go through some verses, but I'm also going to kind of talk about my experience with it. Yeah, I had an issue with it. I think it's one of those red button issues that everyone's discussing, for lack of a better term. But it's everywhere. It's in social media. It's in pop culture. But really and truly, these are temples. These are, and why even want to go there? Why even want to see that sort of thing? What is the desire? What you're really quenching is a loving, healthy relationship with a human, with either your wife or your husband. That's really what you're desiring. And when you look at porn and you experience those things, it's synthetic. It's not real. Okay, it's kind of like the old saying, like, you can see the popcorn, you can smell the popcorn, but you can't have the popcorn. I always like the analogy where they talk about how, okay, so I got coffee on my lips. I look like Marilyn Manson. That's not good. So when you have, let me try to put it this way. Think about your favorite food, and I heard this, I think, on a TED Talk, but it's a good analogy. You have your favorite food, and I think this was coming from a guy. I don't know if he was a Christian or not, but he just knew that it was bad too. Because even outside of Christianity, you'll discover independently that sin is bad, and it will not help you. It'll just make things worse, more complicated, and leave you down a very, very destructive path. So basically, this guy said, think of your favorite food, and but even if you're full, so I'm trying to rephrase. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but if you got stuffed on junk food, and that's why I put that in the descriptor. If you ate a bunch of Taco Bell or whatever it is, and you feel like crap after eating it too, which is kind of funny, so it's correlated in a way. But you get stuffed on junk food, and then you have no space left for that your favorite food, whatever it is filet mignon or oysters, or I like oysters a lot, lamb, gourmet food, that's really, it has depth and it has breadth and it has taste and it's flavor beyond your wildest imaginations. But you're over here eating a McDouble, and you're getting stuffed on McDoubles, and you can't appreciate, and you can't even consume what God has really given you. And it's a blessing when you get married, and we'll talk about marriage in another episode. But marriage is so important too. You're cleaving to another human being. You become one, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And Solomon had many wives, and look where his life led to destruction. And look at these Mormons who have multiple wives. Now there's all these. You can check it out. I mean, don't take my word for it. You go on the website and you see these Mormon guys, and now they're in all these scandals. They've had, they have like 10 wives, and it's nothing but problems and issues. I'm seeing this polygamy everywhere you look. I go on TikTok, it's like sex this, sex that, shake your booty, da 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 da. Sure, you have some of the Christian people, young Christian people, talking about it and stuff like that too, but I don't know to what length. But the fact of the matter is, the world is sex obsessed, and I've been saying that for a while now, and I'm going to even use that in a song eventually. But the world is sex obsessed, and we see that everywhere we go. Sex is the ultimate gift from God. It is like a taste of heaven. It's the closest thing you can get to heaven, and we're taking it and we're throwing it like dirty rags, like it's nothing. But it's a profound, special thing that should be shared between you and your husband or wife, and that's really what it comes down to. Now, I won't get into all homosexuality or any of that stuff because, I mean, that's another whole ball of wax. As far as scat and all that stuff goes, it gets really sort of that is a strange zone. But I won't go there yet, and that'll be a different episode. But let's just talk about the title of the sermon today, which is porn, and how evil it is. So let me just start with some verses here, and then maybe we can talk about it. And if there's anyone that wants to come into here and talk to me, or give me their opinion and stuff like that, my My experience is, yeah, no, I've seen it, and believe me, I've seen it, and every single time I watch it, after everything's said and done, you just feel wrong. You feel wrong, man. You feel used. You feel weird. You just feel off. It's not good. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel righteous. It doesn't feel healthy. You know, you got all these people defending like sex workers now and all this stuff. It's the way of the world. Of course they are. You know, they know deep down what they're doing, or else they, you know, or they're so jaded by now. That's the thing. If you keep watching it and watching it, you become jaded to it, and you go deeper and deeper down this wormhole, and you end up and you just take it way too far. But you're seeing it. The pendulum swings so far right where you have like all these people now, you know, just gay parades, sex parades, you know, righteous, you know, sex workers are people, all this stuff, you know, sex work should be a taxable job and things like that. But it's like, you're missing the whole point here. Yeah, that is of the world, but sex is so important. See, why wouldn't it be such a big topic, actually? Of course it would be, right? Of course it would be this thing where you know, there's so many facets to it. Excuse me. Wow. Choking on coffee. The kind of coffee I drink is like... And these sermons will get better, I'm sure, and that's kind of why I'm doing them too. Because excuse me, guys. I'm just learning too. I think my allergies are kind of bugging me right now. There you go. There's Satan trying to stop me from doing posts. Who knows? But thanks for bearing with that right now. I do need to get some water. But I knew I had to get on no matter what. I have to get on. I have to talk about this stuff. I have to talk about what I know about it. And I'm passionate about this, you know? And I'll get better at it. I'll slow down. I know I'm kind of rambly, but I have a lot of thoughts and ideas. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And I'm doing it. So, let's get into some verses, and then maybe that'll help me sort of... Oh, where was I, though? Just on my experience of it. So, yeah, you know... First time I saw it, I was a kid. We used to go on like Yahoo Chat or something and see naked pictures of women and things like that. But you know, throughout the years, there was a disconnect because my family was kind of just wired differently, and it seemed like okay to look at that kind of stuff sometimes. But well, my dad didn't think it was okay. He said you burn your eyeballs out, and he's absolutely right. I mean, it's exactly what you're doing. You're burning your eyeballs out. You're cracking your head wide open with that crap. But you know. Those thoughts cleave to you. That's what's interesting. If you think about it, like all the times you've seen it, there's certain things that you've seen that you just can't unsee, and you know you don't want to know that stuff. Honestly, you don't. It could be more innocent, and that's good. You know, it's good to stay a virgin until you get married. I think that's great. I wish I did. I probably have a lot less issues mentally and things like that. But it's okay now. I mean, I'm married and I'm happy, and it's all working itself out for the greater good. But the idea is, you know, it's good to wait. It's good to be patient about that. There's no rush. And it just gets better as you get older, too. So you just have to be careful and use, you know, your weapon with with accuracy and with, you know, responsibility. But look at all these diseases that have sprung forth from people and the loins of, you know, from all their activities. And I mean, you've got all these sexual diseases. I mean, that's not good, is it? It's a disgusting thing. Before the fall of man, there was no disease, there was no pain. You know, the humans knew what to do. They were almost not robotic, but they lived for God. They were almost like animals in the Garden of Eden. And now we have free will. Oh, why does God create this, and that? God hasn't created it. We have with our free will. God didn't create computers. We did. We created these diseases and problems too. It's with our own free will and our own you know, understanding. It's our own human understanding. That's what led to all these strange things with sex. Now you see all these sex toys and stuff like that when you across the ocean. You know. In Japan, who knows? Maybe that's why there's earthquakes happening. I don't know, but you know that's another whole thing. But the idea is like, wow, yeah, you know, it's getting freakier and freakier out there, and that was in the Bible too. I mean, hey, look at Sodom and Gomorrah. The whole town was destroyed. And that's why we actually have a rainbow, which is so ironic because the Christian use of the rainbow is the covenant between man and God, that He will never destroy us again. God will never destroy us again. But you see where the world is going now, and I'm sure Jesus will return, sooner than later because of the way things are going. It's just getting very, very bizarre out there. Things I've seen, more and more things are acceptable, and I know people who've gone down that porn wormhole, man. And I know, the things you've seen, you cannot unsee them, and it is wicked, and it is not funny. And when you're all alone and you're thinking about those disgusting things you've seen, it's not humorous, it's not comical, it's absolutely filthy, disgusting, and it's almost like it sears into your mind, and it's just absolutely wicked stuff. And you don't want to relive it. You don't want to do it. I would say immediately stop watching it, and you'll feel better. Stop masturbating so much. That's another thing altogether. And now there's even studies where people, when you masturbate and you release your semen and things like that. Thanks for bearing with all my allergy stuff going on, or whatever it is, dust, mold, I don't know. I need to get out of this trailer. But anyway, it's like, you've got, you release this semen, you're releasing your loins, you're deep within you, your spirit. This is what you use to make babies. And you lose energy, you lose testosterone and things like that. It's a special thing. You want to reserve. You don't want to just go around spraying it everywhere. You have to be careful with that stuff. Same with women, I'm sure. And that's why when you wait and you're patient, there's that verse where, don't always have sex too. Not sex every day isn't good. It says to put prayer in between it and life. And when the time is right and it's good, it'll be perfect. Imagine orgasming at the same exact time with your wife, on your wedding day. What could be so more magical than that? Kids these days need to take it back a second. It's okay to hold hands and not do anything for a while. 16, 17, 18-year-old. Imagine how romantic and amazing your sex life would be if you just take it down a notch and just wait and be patient with it. Imagine, because you can think back on relationships where you just jumped right into it, and things probably went south, or got lackluster or boring and things like that. But if you're patient, take your time. Just maybe hold hands for a little while, and the flame will grow. It'll get bigger and bigger, and then when you have that first kiss, even if it's on your wedding day, how magical, how profound would a first kiss be if it was truly on your wedding day? And it's just like it's electric and it's amazing, and that's why I'm on here talking about it, because I wish I could have lived that sort of thing. But spiritually, I will. I know when I get married, I am married to my wife. That's another story altogether. We haven't had a wedding yet. That's a business contract. I won't go there right now. But yeah, I'm learning to put time in between that sort of thing and take your time. And that's, so far right from this whole porn culture that they don't even see it. They're so scarred and so jaded. When you go to these porn conventions, it's like, it's the strangest people. Go to these porn conventions. Look who's walking around. The strangest sort of parasitic type people, just like bizarre type people walking around. I've seen some videos and I want to unsee it, but again, it sears into your memory, and you have to live with this stuff forever. Once you've seen stuff, you can't unsee it. I'm being real with you guys. A lot of preachers and stuff like that, they come on YouTube, they act like holier than thou, like they've never seen porn, they've never done these things. Yeah, I've been exposed to a lot of this stuff, and that's why I'd like to mention it and hope that it helps somebody somewhere eventually down the road. That would be great. And if anyone has any stories or experiences and they want to share it, come on in the chat. I'm more than welcome to sit and talk with people about what their questions are, and you can come in and joke and be silly, and too, if you I'm sure that's gonna happen too eventually if I keep doing these and if it ever picks up steam. But the thing is, I'm prepared for all that. I'm in sales. I talk to a lot of people. I know how to deflect a lot of nonsense and things like that, so I'm not concerned. But going back to that low flame that you can grow, it's bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a special, wonderful, beautiful thing. It's magical. It's mysterious, and it is. Sex is a great thing that should be used very carefully and very wisely. So let's talk about porn, though. again, you get in, you're watching that stuff, you're clicking through it, you're burning your eyeballs out, and you're going deeper down this wormhole where you end up and you start seeing things, and you're like, what the heck am I even watching? These are people's daughters and sons doing these blasphemic things. Like, you go on there, you see, like, it's just amazing because, like, in the same room there's like directors and people watching and filming and doing these things. It's like, how does this even compute? I can't imagine the circumstance. The first time you ever had sex, you were shy, your heart was racing and things like that, and it's like, how far down the line do you have to go to where you're in a room and you're doing these despicable things, and it's being recorded, and thousands upon thousands of people, millions of people are going to be watching this stuff. The most popular website right now are porn websites. These people are making money on this stuff. These wicked executive people, they're going about their lives, and deep down they know, unless they're so far jaded at this point that it doesn't even affect them. Like a thief, when he steals a piece of candy, his heart's racing, but he keeps doing it, and 5 weeks later, he's trying to steal a car. It's the same thing. I mean, you start small and you end up at, next thing you know, you're a porn director. And I've read the stories. I've seen the stories, man. I've seen porn directors. They go into the storm and they come out of that stuff and they're like, man, this is crazy. I can't believe I actually did that. I can't believe I was, I don't want to be associated with that stuff, Then they're known as this porn director, and it's like they don't want to be associated with that stuff. There's a reason for that, by the way. Why do we look down upon prostitutes and stuff like that? Easy money, sleazy money, that sort of thing. Because it's wicked and it's strange, and it we shun that stuff in society. Go ahead and tell me all this other existential stuff. Oh, well, this is human society, and like we're still evolving and things like that. Like, oh, we'll evolve out of it where everything's accepted and sex workers are accepted too. It's like, I don't know. You want to have faith in human ideas? You want to live your life based on people's ideas? There's billions of people in this world, and it's all subjective. Okay? But when you have a book, and that's where all our knowledge comes from in the first place, are books. But if you have a standard telling you what is good and what is evil, that can help you. The Bible is not quite a historical document as much as it is a love letter from God, is the way I like to describe it, telling us what is good and wrong, and steering us in the right direction, and to live as much as we can like that. And I'll get into all sorts of subjects and things like that people don't, a lot of preachers don't really, they kind of tiptoe around it, like babies dying and stuff like that. No, I'll tell you about my opinions on that. And that's another episode. But today we're talking about this. And I'm really going deep down as far as I can, with my knowledge and trying to understand it as best I can. Now let's get into some verses anyway. If someone has a question, like I said, come on in. Just ask what's on your mind. If you need help, we can talk about that too. Matthew 5:28. But I say unto you that whoever looketh upon a woman with lust after her committed adultery with her already in his heart. That's interesting. So let's talk about that for 1 second. So, easiest thing to control is your actions. Okay, if you see someone you don't like, you want to smack them, but you don't, because that's the easiest thing to control, right? What comes next? What you say, what you profess, which is very interesting. When people say, oh my God, you hear it everywhere. Jesus Christ. They're professing God. It's interesting. So that's the second hardest thing to control. The hardest thing to control are your thoughts and what you think. So you've got thoughts, words, actions. And what's happening here in this verse is Matthew's saying, even if you look upon a woman and lust after her. And I hear a lot of these cowboys here in Florida, oh man, I'm just shopping. I don't have to, or whatever. They have these different jokes, and they talk about where they look at women and it's okay, like they're married but they can still look, things like that. Shopping or whatever. I've heard some jokes. I can't recall them now. I don't want to even know that wicked stuff. But yeah, no, it's not. It's not okay. It's not cool, funny, interesting. When you're married, you should be satisfied and happy and beyond happy with who you have and who you love. I always say I'm happily married, and people are like, that's an oxymoron. Like these sort of jokes, it's like all wicked of the stuff of the world, but it's not. Being married is awesome, and loving your husband or wife, and and all the sexual relations you guys have is no one else's business. By the way, it's only between you and her. and really God too. Well, God turns his eye to the bedroom when you're married. You can do whatever you want. That's what's awesome about it. So, yeah, I mean, so let's control our thoughts as best we can, because I know those are the most difficult things to control, but it's doable. You are capable of controlling your thoughts. Think of something else. Warn yourself. Say, hey, whoa, I'm going down. Don't sit there and just like daydream about it and relish in it. When you catch yourself, looking at something or thinking something, stop. You need to stop yourself immediately, and you need to, either think of something else, but stop yourself. Because when you go down that wormhole, like I said, and you keep thinking and you keep relishing in this thing, it's like, it's evil, man, and you're just feeding these demonic thoughts and all this wickedness. You need to stop, and you need to think of, good things, whatever. What do you want to do with your day? What productive thing can you do? What can I do for God? Say a prayer if you have to. Open up your phone and read the Bible. It's so easy now. It's everywhere now. And people want to tell me, oh, because you're born in the Western world, that's why you're Christian. That's blasphemy. That's a lie. Everyone in this world has heard of Jesus Christ. My wife is Chinese. Here's a cool story. She wore a cross when I first met her. She said she was atheist. I didn't believe in God. It was amazing, but that's neither here nor there. I'll talk about that another day. But she's wearing this cross, and I go, well, where's the cross from? She goes, oh, well, my mom gave it to me, and it means that I'm safe. And I just had this moment like, whoa. Even across the world, they use this symbol, a cross, to know that you're safe. Even these people in these Buddhist religions and stuff like that, and these Hindu religions, which, by the way, come from Christianity, but that's another thing altogether. And I'll talk about religions one day, too, because that's a captivating subject. Why I'm Christian over Buddhist or atheist or whatever. But yeah, no. So, that's so interesting to me that she had that cross. I like coffee. Okay. So, yeah, you commit adultery. If you're married and you're out there going to strip clubs, or you're looking at women, or you're talking about women, or you're joking about it, that's all adultery. That's a sin, guys. And it's not good. It's not good, and it won't help you in any way, shape, or form. And you're wasting time, just lusting after things that you can't have to. And but I pray for those who really have, who are caught in that snare, with just always looking at women and always, watching porn, and, they feel so defeated. I know they feel defeated afterward. It's a horrible thing, guys. So, all right, 1 Corinthians 6, 18 through 20. Flee fornication. Flee fornication. How about that? It's telling you don't even have sex. Because use that energy to channel into more productive things, I'm sure. It takes a lot of energy to do that. So, flee fornication first, right? Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. Wow. That's interesting. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. When you steal, it's not, you're using your body to take something, sure. When you lie, but when you sinneth fornication, it's inside. So God's telling us right now that the fornication is probably worse than any other sin. How about that? That's really captivating. Now, I won't go into that verse much more because I'm going to look through some more, but yeah, that's something really to take into consideration there. So you got Psalms 1:19-37. And by the way, I want to say thank you guys for joining me. I'm still learning how to do all this and do these streams. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing. I'll be on here every Wednesday and Sunday, by the glory of God. And I hope to join you guys every Wednesday and Sunday if things are going good. Right now it's very tumultuous in my life. I've got a lot in the sales funnel and things like that, but this comes first. God comes first. So we got Psalms 1:19-37. Turn away thine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in thy way. Yeah, turn away your eyes, windows of the soul, right? We use these to see things when we go, and it's an amazing thing what eyes are. By the way, just really briefly on a human eye, and look it up. If you've never done it, look up a human eye and tell me creation isn't real. It is the most profound mechanical. It's just the most profound thing in this entire universe. The mechanics of an eye. It's amazing. It's even more amazing to me than the human cell, which the human cell is wild too. But when you look at that human eye, there's something very important about that, and it's like a camera, and you see things and you remember them. And be careful what you put into your mind. You're using your eyes. So turn thine eyes away. It's saying turn from vanity. Turn all this TikTok stuff off. All this when you're all this naked stuff. When the girls wear scandalous clothing, the spirit of the harlot and all that. Just turn away from all of that. Even when I watch movies and there's scenes like that, I close my eyes or I turn away. I literally turn away. And now I'm reading the Bible. I came to that independently, turning away. But there it is. It literally uses the word in the King James Version, turn away. And by the way, King James Version is great. We're going to have a whole thing on that too. I just got to do some back research, a little more research on that. James White is a good authority as far as translations go, but there's a couple of guys out there that talk about King James and why it's important. Anyway, but quicken thou me in thy way. So yeah, turn away from the ugly stuff and go God's way as quickly as you possibly can today. Stop living in lust and stop living in basically your own personal hell that you're creating. And it's going to lead you straight to hell for eternity. And hell is not cool. It's not rock and roll. There's going to be a whole episode on that. Hell, you're alone. You're completely alone in darkness and fire and bugs and just every little thing that you hate in this world that you think is disgusting. That's what's waiting for you there if you want to get down that road. I'm not trying to spook you out of it or whatever. Scare tactics, as some people say. No, it's not that. It is what it is. It's, So Corinthians 10:13. Let's just keep reading some verses here because I want to seek the Bible. I want to seek wisdom from somewhere else. I don't want to just make it up as I go. I'll tell you my experiences, but then I want to check and see how it correlates with the Bible to know. Okay, so someone wants to come in here. I like porn though. It doesn't exist though. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Well, I appreciate you coming in and joining us. I think there's things in life that you'd probably like a lot more if you were aware of it. But right now, porn is sort of, and I thought there'd be like some clowns on here, but I'm gonna let the clowns come in and just get it all out. If they want to have fun and joke around, that's on them, But see, right now, you think that making fun of me is gonna help you, and kind of help make you happy, but that it really truly doesn't at the end of the day. Because jokes that are good are, I think, funniest jokes. If you can tell a joke without cursing or using like strange words like that, then it's truly funny. Then you're truly a comic to me. But yeah, no, I think you think you're getting your kicks off by making fun of me and things like that. You're not, and it doesn't really bother me. So, but if you continue to do so, I'll just kind of ignore you, which is fine too. But I will tell you that. I just think that you're seeking something, man. You're seeking something, and you're empty. If you're watching porn, like I said, it's synthetic. It's fake pleasure, and nothing will be better than the real thing. Nothing's better than the real thing. Going and meeting someone that you truly love and taking your time to understand who they are on many different facets, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and then eventually physically, right? So take your time to meet someone. Graze hands. Imagine touching someone's hand. Imagine touching someone's hand and having it being such a passionate, romantic thing. That's a profound thing. I really like that. I really like the idea of going so slow where, again, that first kiss or that first hug, there's lightning and electric there. And you know what I'm talking about. When you get on this porn, you flip it on right away, they're having sex and you're watching this stuff and you're bringing it into your soul forever. Some things you can never unsee ever again. Yeah, well, yeah, because it's synthetic, and as soon as the porn's over and everything is done and you finish, and you are petrified and you feel alone, you feel empty, you feel like a shell of a shell, and you may lie and tell me you don't, but I've experienced it personally, and I know that it's not helpful and it's not good, and it's shallow, and so I would just say, seek the real thing and stop watching synthetic. Again, porn is junk food. And getting married and meeting the person that you truly love is your favorite food. It is the manna. It is like it will quench your deepest desires beyond your wildest fantasies. Believe me. Okay. Yeah, you're a wise guy, but the thing is, like, here's the deal. When you realize that, when you finally get to the conclusion, and believe me, I'm sure you've been on porn and you're watching it, and you're going deeper down into the website, and you keep flipping through videos. You get to videos that will make you sick at first. They literally make me sick. I've seen stuff that I feel like I wanted to vomit. And then you get kind of jaded to that, and you go back and you watch more, and you get, it's a sickly thing, and it's this cycle that never ends. And it can end, though, when you stop. Stop, man. You've tried everything else. You've tried watching porn. You've done all that. You've tried watching it less. You've tried doing this thing. But I would just say, stop all that completely and just give yourself some time and feel what that feels like. Feel what it feels like to live good. And really try to understand what you're feeling and how amazing it really is to not watch it, to have control over it. You control it. You control yourself and your thoughts and your desires. People who eat too much, that's another episode. They sit there and they gorge themselves all the time. I eat a little too much sometimes too. I'm only human, and I'm working on that. But it's the same thing. So eating too much, you're just like a hedonist. You don't know when to stop. But yeah, you finally get to a point where you're just shallow. But I would just say, yeah, give yourself some time and see what that feels like. You've tried everything else, right? And if you're very young right now and you're joking with me and things like that, yeah, it's different when you're young. You feel, like, obviously you're young and I'm 29. I'm still relatively young in a way, but like, I remember what I felt like when I was 18, like unstoppable, man. I just felt like I was like, nothing can destroy me, indestructible, but you get to a point where you'll have realizations. But now, the thing that's spooky is that porn is so accessible to all these children and all these people that it's just so easy to just flip it on. You can see it on your phone anywhere you go. And it wasn't always like that. When I was younger, I'm old enough to remember, like, you had to, like, seek that stuff. You had to get, like, a Playboy or something like that. No. You relinquish that power when you watch it. You relinquish power. I have the power of, my power comes from God. I'm talking through the Bible, that's why I love it. I do feel powerful when I talk about the Bible and I talk about good things. I do feel a sense of power, but I don't want to use it. I want to use it for good in the best way I can. I want to use my knowledge and my experience to help younger folks like you to truly understand what life is on a richer, deeper level, more than just going on here. That's why all these young kids, are whatever, turning transgender, they're gay, they're this, they're that. They're all like, they're confused, man. Well, hey, just go ahead and subscribe and come back another time. We'll talk some more, man. All right, Mr. Creep McPasta, and do good, man. Do good. And when you're all done, yeah, you'll realize how sad it truly is. Let me have a sip of coffee. And you're wasting your precious time too. Believe me, you're wasting your precious time. You ever watch that stuff and how much time goes by? Hours and hours, and you go, wow, what just happened to half my day? Let's get back into some verses now. And I knew there would be, what do they call them, trolls, internet trolls and things like that. But that's okay. I'll do my best to prepare myself to block with the shield of God those arrows, those fiery arrows, right? Here we go. John 3:4-10. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And it's talking about the dangers of sin. And again, all of these and the thous, there's reasons for that in the King James. It's not that hard to understand. They use thee and thou to direct who they're talking to and what is being said to who. So it is important. So I would say that the KJV is gonna beat out a lot of other versions. King James did not have any ulterior motives. He just wanted to create a great Bible with the greatest scholars and translate all the known translations of the world, and he did a great job. And then when they found those Dead Sea Scrolls, they jibed completely with what it was saying in the King James. So, let's move on here. John 2:16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. There's that word pride. You see that word everywhere, right? They're using a word that is meaning sin to boast who they are. They're standing for sin. These people are proud of their sin. Is not the Father, but is of the world. So they're of the world, right? That's what God's warning us. Lust of the flesh, wanting to masturbate, wanting to see porn, and what they're doing to each other when they recorded that porno. That's lust of the flesh. And they're using it in strange ways. I remember thinking back, there was a young lady who was a porn actress, and then later it tore her apart. Watch those videos, Life After Porn. You'll see things on a microcosm level, and you'll start to understand things through their eyes, and that'll help you truly understand where they're coming from with their perspective. But I saw a young lady, it was devastating. It really broke her that she had done that she had made porno videos for money, and probably very little money, and had to live with that for the rest of her life. For the rest of your life. I'm talking, not, next Wednesday, but I'm talking, till the very bitter end. And in that moment, in the shadow of the valley of the death, you'll know truly deep down that all those decisions you made, you never lived for God. But start today. You can today, and it's an amazing thing, and it will change your life so profoundly when you truly finally accept the purpose you're here and how amazing it is. It's great. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I've been a Christian now since 21 years old, so truly been a Christian and given my life to God for about 8 years, and but only now, this year, really, I used to smoke a lot, and you watch those old videos on pot. That'll help you too, and I'll talk about pot again too. But I've been clean now. I did smoke weed on the last day of December, but for the entire month of January, haven't touched any of that stuff. I drank a little bit, but again, I don't want to. I don't really want to. I went to this party and there was free kegs and da-da-da-da. I won't get into all that. We'll talk about that later. But stick with me, guys. If you subscribe, and I'll be around. I'm always available to you guys on my Instagram as well, Mark123 Ministries. So you can always message me there too. So, okay. So to not be of the world, to be of God. So Galatians 5:19-25. Now the works of the flesh are manifest. Wow, that's a powerful. See, the words in the Bible are so they're weighty. They're heavy, they're dense. That God's using the perfect words. It is powerful poetry. It is very special stuff, and it's the most poetic book I've ever read by far. And I haven't read too much poetry. I've read guys like Samuel Beckett, and even like Dostoevsky, which is like nonfiction stuff. David Foster Wallace, some really big thinkers. But when you're reading the Bible, it is truly, it's so colorful and so amazing. So now that the works of flesh are manifest, so things you've done, which are these? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. He's putting in the same sentence adultery with fornication and uncleanness. It's not clean. It's not good. And cleanliness is next to godliness. So it's not clean. It's dirty. Do you ever go in a bedroom or you go to a friend's house that has a very dirty house? It's uncomfortable. You don't like it. It smells bad. You want to get out of there. There's dirt and grime everywhere. If your bedroom's dirty right now, there's even other guys, independent guys like psychologists, who say the first thing you want to do is clean your room. It'll help your thinking and help things get better for you. I truly believe in that, but I think it's that principle is biblical. All these things you'll learn if you just study the Bible. A lot of the philosophy and psychology you hear are all biblical principles, and that's why there are Christian philosophers and there are Christian scientists, and I think those are probably the smartest of the bunch, really. You climb the mountain of knowledge, and at the top are the Christians waving back at you. All right. So, Hebrews 13:4. Marriage is honorable in all. Wow, marriage. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. So what's God's saying there in Hebrews is, if you're married, the bed is undefiled. You can do whatever you want to your husband or wife. You can live out your craziest fantasies, And as far as being together and watching porn together, I don't know. I wouldn't think so. That's now you're going into the realm of someone else. Stick together, you and them. Believe me, it'll be better that way. You don't want to watch porn. You really don't. I'm telling you, you don't. And it just turns people into strange. Like this guy that came into the chat and was saying these things. This is the kind of attitude you take on. You get into this strange world, and maybe you ever go on a gaming website and you put the headphones on, you listen to some of the stuff these kids say. It's like they're looking for shock value, but at a certain point it just gets wild and crazy, and it's just an evil sort of thing. They're just feeding this evil machine. Using the N-word and talking about all this stuff. It just gets gross. Honestly, the clean jokes, if you can make a clean joke, that's truly hard, and that's awesome. Guys like, I don't really like Seinfeld, but, there's a lot of guys out there, there's some good comedians who are clean and are just hysterical. The funniest. Okay, so, let's see here. That's what I mean. So people, it doesn't have to be boring. Christianity doesn't have to be boring and dry. It's a special thing. It can be very exciting and colorful, like I said. It can be funny. It can be cool. God has a sense of humor. That's why we have buttholes and things like that where we fart. It's funny. So, but anyway, Philippines 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are a good rapport, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. God is telling us that's what we should think on, right? So when you say don't watch porn, what should I do? Well, think on things that are true. Think on things that are honest, that are just, that are pure. Stories of the past and history, mathematics, music, art, good things like that. That'll enrich in your life. Read the encyclopedia, read the dictionary. How many people actually read the dictionary? You'll learn new words, you'll know more, you'll do better in life, you'll be more successful, and you'll be able to help more people. That's really what it comes down to, is helping people. So think of things that are lovely, of good rapport. When I'm learning things, I always think of it like eating let's see, baby back ribs or wings or something like that. You eat the meat and you throw away the bones. So eat the good meat. When you're talking to people, there's always some redeemable quality. When you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast or something, some of it's way out there, but that's of the world. But there's a few things you might pick up that actually might help you along the way. And that's why I think, learn everything and discern what is truly good. And a way to do that is knowing the Bible first. That is your foundation. You cannot build a building without a good, solid foundation to build on. Study Construction 101. The first thing they do is pour a footer, where they build a foundation. How do you think those skyscrapers can stay up? Those very tall skyscrapers in Dubai and in Chicago and stuff like that, because they have a very, very structural sound. It takes the smartest engineers in the world to create foundations that they can build upon. So that is your foundation. Read other theological books too, if you want. They don't have the depth of the Bible. It doesn't have that the beauty of it. It just doesn't. It's not there. You don't feel it. I don't, at least. And I've read the Quran. I've read the Bhagavad Gita, all that sort of stuff, and I'll read them again, and I'll learn more, because you're always learning. It's lifelong learning. You don't flip a switch and go, now I'm smart. No, to continuously learning, continuously understanding. That's why I'm doing things like this too, so I can learn along with you guys. If you guys have any questions, this kid coming into the chat and saying these things, that's teaching me something too. In some way, there's a lesson there to be learned and to be understood from a human interaction between you and another person. There's always something to learn there. There's some inspiration to take out of some, those sort of things. So, good, guys. No, I'm glad. If you're getting anything out of this, again, subscribe, hang out. I love to hear from people. I love to hear their opinions on what I'm talking about. Because again, I am learning, and I'm going to refine, and I'm going to, I want it to boil down to better knowledge and refine my knowledge so I can help people better, faster. Okay. So we're thinking about things that are lovely. Isn't that nice? Thinking about things that are lovely. When you think about things that are lovely, I think about butterflies and fishing and sports. I like sports and just things that I like. What are lovely to you? My parents and family and hikes and just things like that. Ruminate on those type of things instead of going and filling your soul with all this wickedness online. You've got this powerful tool, the internet. You can watch debates. You can watch trials. I've been getting into those. You can watch things on business. You can watch anything, virtually anything. But you choose to, excuse me. But you choose to watch this stuff. I have a bad habit of like doing the old long sleeve thing. No, I know. And, I'm working on all that stuff. But yeah. So, and that's why these are kind of trial and error. These streams, but they'll figure themselves out. Ephesians 6:11-17. Put on the whole armor of God. Wow, cool. The whole armor. And I was talking about that earlier. The armor of God, and I would read that what that is, but the verse stops here. But yeah, put on the armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And that's sort of the thing. What this kid doesn't realize is he's perpetuating satanic spirits and evil when he says things like that. And he thinks he's being funny and clever but he's lost in this little world of his friends, and you're the average of the top 5 people you hang out with. But no, it doesn't affect me at all. He thought he was going to get a reaction out of me. You won't, and nothing. And I've heard worse things from better people, and it really takes a lot to really get me riled up, because I'm slow to anger, and that's a biblical principle as well. But you put on that armor of God, and you can block anything that comes your way, even if you don't understand it enough just yet. I want you to just, if something affects you and it's traumatic when someone says something to you, yeah, go home and read about it and study it and think about it. That'll help you. All right. Corinthians 6:9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor adulterers, nor idolaters who believe in idols other than God. When you go, you have, and this isn't really related, but it's stuff you're putting into your eyes and your mind and your thoughts. All these statues in Hinduism and stuff like that. You see all these stuff like Buddha. These are idols. These are false idols. Adulterers, again, cheating on your wife and things like that. Nor effeminate. So men acting like women, women acting like men. How bizarre. Why even go there? Why not? What good are you doing for the world if you're a man and want to be a woman, other than satisfy your own earthly pleasure? God made you a woman or a man. Hey, it's fine. What are you doing to give back to the world is my big question. Okay? You're so focused on, oh my gosh, I need to be a man because I like to have sex like this way, and I want to be represented this way, and I want people to, I think it all comes back down to how you want to be treated. And in those desires, deeper desires, keep going down. Ask why 5 times. Why? Why do you want to be a man? Well, I feel like a man. Why? Well, I like to wear suits. Why? Well, because my dad wore a suit. Why? Because he was in business. Why? Because it made him a success. And that's really what it comes down to. You want to be successful. Things like that. Ask why 4 or 5 times, and you'll get down to the true root and crux of it all. Yeah. So, I think we've gone through a lot now. The stream's coming on 48 minutes. It seems that, hopefully some of these things I've said, it will affect someone in some kind of way where, sometimes you don't know if you're going to help someone, but maybe you just sow a little seed and that seed can grow, and you give it time, because it does take time. When you learn something new, you're going to think about it and you're going to wonder about it. And it does take time, and it's a beautiful thing, though. But I'll go through a couple more verses here, and then I'm going to go to lunch, I think. Proverbs 7:21-27. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. Now that's interesting. You use your mouth to profess things so people understand, what's going on in your mind, what you want to do, things like that. But, this is talking about women will seduce you. Strange women, and especially when you're doing well, and that's when you need to be very, very careful with the actions that you're taking in life and what you're doing. Again, when you watch this porn, you're submitting to the devil, and you're pleasing the devil, and you're pleasing just wickedness. There is good and there is evil, and that's the way we know. Now, I will end on this verse, and again, I'll thank all of you, whoever's watching this. If you've reached this point, maybe I'm saying something that has captivated you to a way that will help you, guide you into more knowledge, into more understanding, and I pray that you all seek God and find God, and you find true happiness, true, lovely, beautiful happiness, right? Matthew 6:22-23. The light of the body is the eye, as we were saying. The light of the body is the eye. And therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. That's great. You're using your eye for good. You getting hungry, babe? Use your body for good, and you'll be full of light. So I pray that today that you guys use your eyes for good and you fill your body with light. Now go out there and watch some debates. I'll give you guys a suggestion if you're not sure what to go watch. Here's what I was going to check out later today after we come home. Paste. Check that out. It's a debate between Dillahunty and this other gentleman, but just something I'm going to watch. I haven't really watched yet, so I don't know. But that might kind of vault you into more debates and thinking and things like that. But again, hey, love you guys. Thanks for joining me. Remember, your eyes are a powerful tool in how you use them, and in your brain and your thoughts. I mean, control those thoughts. Control those thoughts and be full of light, guys. All right? Have a great day. Amen. Take care. Bye.